Who are the real Black Americans? Who are the real foundational Black Americans? I've gone to that particular place where I usually do my research to unfold to you who the real Black Americans are. So for those ones that love arguing, these people will tell you that this is who we are. You decided that you don't want to accept it. You want to still prove to them that this is where they are from. They are supposed to be from Africa. They are supposed to be from Zimbabwe. This video exposes a whole lot. Welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's Sonia and I'm back again with another mind-blowing video. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are fine. Hope you guys are good. If it's the first time seeing it, do it, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And this is just for educational purposes, not to bash anyone, okay? So let's find out in this particular video who the real Black Americans are. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. So I'll go ahead and roll out my clips and I'll be back with commentaries.
Do you know the origin of your ancestry as a Black person? In other words, whether your ancestors were from America, living as original native Black American tribes, or did they come from Africa as a result of the transatlantic slave trade? Today, Black Americans are confused, and the government record prevailing system has left no stone unturned to ensure the confusion remains forever. If you ask your parents or grandparents, you might be told they are original Native Americans. But there are equal chances that you will be told that your roots lie in Africa. Which one should you believe, and which one are the real Black Americans? In this video, let's find out.
The Black History Archives.
To really decide who will be the real Black Americans, we first have to understand what makes original native Black Americans and African Americans what they really are today. Not only that, but we have to know the major groups Black people claim to belong to really understand their identity. First, let's know who are Black Native Americans. Today, they are individuals of mixed African and Native American ancestry, often tracing their lineage back to indigenous tribes like the Cherokee, Choctaw, and Seminole. Interestingly, many Black Native Americans lived as free individuals long before slavery became institutionalized in the U.S., setting them apart from African Americans. These communities played significant roles as warriors, land defenders, and protectors of their tribal sovereignty. Their unique position in history allowed them to create a rich blend of African and Native traditions, forming distinct identities that reflected both cultures. A notable example of this is the Seminole tribe, which offered refuge to runaway slaves during the era of slavery in the U.S. These escaped individuals, known as Black Seminoles, became part of the tribe, living freely, intermarrying, and contributing to the tribe's governance and survival. The relationship between Black people and Native Americans in these communities was built on mutual cooperation and defense, rather than one of domination or servitude. But it gets interesting. That's because the native Black Americans are themselves believed to have come from Africa. This becomes a strong argument due to the out-of-Africa theory, which suggests all humans came from Africa and migrated to different regions. However, for the sake of further explanation, let's consider the period of American colonization where native Black people in America and those from Africa were quite different. That's when we have to know about the Black people who call themselves African Americans. They are descendants of Africans forcibly brought to America during the transatlantic slave trade. This group's history is deeply rooted in the forced migration, enslavement, and exploitation of millions of Africans. Their identity has been shaped by a continuous struggle for freedom, civil rights, and the development of a unique culture that blends African heritage with American experiences. What fundamentally distinguishes African Americans from Black Native Americans is their direct connection to the legacy of slavery and the systemic oppression that followed. Slavery stripped African Americans of their cultural and familial ties to Africa, erasing much of their heritage. Therefore, the term African American was adopted by Black communities to acknowledge both their American identity and their African roots, as highlighted by scholars. This label became a way to embrace their cultural heritage while also recognizing their complex history in the U.S. However, the landscape of Black identity in America has evolved, especially since the 1960s. Immigration has brought a growing number of Black people from Africa, the Caribbean, and Europe, who may not necessarily identify as African American. These first and second generation immigrants often maintain strong connections to their cultural heritage, such as being Jamaican or Nigerian, but also align with the broader Black experience in America. Darian LaBeach, a Jamaican-born Black man raised in the U.S., exemplifies this complexity. He describes his identity as fluid, with his Blackness being the constant thread that ties together the different aspects of who he is. For many, the term Black is more inclusive and recognizes the global diversity of the Black diaspora. However, to understand the difference between the two groups further, we have to look at their cultures. Black Native Americans have a unique and rich cultural heritage that is deeply rooted in their tribal origins. Unlike African Americans, whose identity has evolved through a blend of African and American influences, Black Native Americans have preserved many of their indigenous customs, languages, and religious practices. These traditions, which have been passed down through generations, set them apart from African traditions and reflect the long-standing history of Native American life in North America. Here's a reminder to please support us so we can make more videos for you by subscribing to our channel and giving the video a like. We want to build a strong community, and we need your support. Let's continue now. In many Black Native American communities, tribal ceremonies, spiritual practices, and governance structures remain intact. For example, tribes like the Seminole, Cherokee, and Choctaw have long held rituals that honor the land, ancestors, and spiritual beings. Black members of these tribes have often participated in and led these ceremonies, merging their African roots with native customs. Food is another area where this cultural blend is apparent, with traditional indigenous ingredients like corn, beans, and squash being combined with African-inspired flavors and cooking techniques. Language is a key component in maintaining tribal identity among Black Native Americans. Many have preserved elements of their ancestral languages, passing them down through their families, which distinguishes them from African Americans whose languages were largely erased during slavery. Additionally, Black Native Americans often played important roles in tribal governance, making decisions about land use, trade, and diplomacy. Some even held spiritual leadership positions, serving as healers or religious figures, further solidifying their place within tribal communities. On the other hand, African Americans have developed a cultural identity shaped by survival, resilience, and the fight against systemic racism. Over centuries, African Americans have created a culture that draws from both African traditions and American experiences, leading to the birth of iconic elements like jazz, soul food, and African-inspired spiritual practices. African American culture is also deeply knotted with political activism, particularly in the fight for civil rights. The civil rights movement of the 20th century, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, was a defining moment in American history. This legacy of activism continues today with movements like Black Lives Matter, further connecting African American identity to the ongoing struggle for equality and justice. However, both Black Native Americans and African Americans do have a shared experience. Despite their different cultural backgrounds, both Black Native Americans and African Americans have faced systemic racism and exclusion throughout U.S. history. Black Native Americans, because of their African ancestry, were often marginalized within their own tribes and faced additional discrimination from the broader society. Laws and social norms frequently stripped Black Native Americans of their tribal identity, excluding them from land ownership and participation in tribal governance. This created a complex struggle where they were seen as outsiders by the white society. African Americans, meanwhile, faced the horrors of slavery and the brutal oppression of segregation. Even after emancipation, African Americans continued to experience systemic racism through Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation and limited their access to education, housing, and voting rights. Both groups have had to endure being treated as second-class citizens, with their humanity often questioned solely because of their race. But something else happened, which further faded the line of difference between the two groups. The Great Migration, which occurred from the early 1900s to the 1970s, saw millions of African Americans leaving the rural South for urban areas in the North and West, driven by the search for better economic opportunities and an escape from the oppressive Jim Crow laws. This massive movement significantly contributed to the blending of identities between Black Native Americans and African Americans, as these communities often settled in the same neighborhoods, forging new social and cultural bonds. During this time, the line between Black Native Americans and African Americans began to blur. Many African Americans claimed indigenous ancestry through oral history or family connections, though proving these ties was often challenging due to the loss or destruction of records. The erasure of documents, particularly during the forced removal of native tribes and the period of slavery, made tracing one's lineage difficult. Despite these barriers, cultural mixing was inevitable, as African and Native American traditions merged in areas like music, storytelling, and spiritual practices. However, people still had questions about their true ancestry, and that's when DNA testing became popular. Companies like Ancestry and 23andMe offer individuals the opportunity to trace their genetic heritage, and many African Americans have discovered Native American markers in their DNA. This discovery has fueled a desire to reconnect with native roots, explore tribal affiliations, and reclaim parts of their lost identity. However, DNA tests have limitations. That's because a person having a native Black American great-grandfather or grandfather may not have Native American genes. This is due to the random division of chromosomes. As a result, there is the possibility that the part of the chromosome that has Native American genes in your parents might not be selected when an egg or sperm is produced. What's more, there is a limited genetic record of the native Black Americans in the database. Therefore, even if a person has Native American genes, they are often ignored or considered African. So, after knowing this, what does it mean to be a real Black American? Well, the truth is, Black identity in America is anything but singular. It is a rich, diverse, and multifaceted experience shaped by African, indigenous, and other cultural influences. For some, being a real Black American means embracing their African heritage and the struggles of the African American experience. For others, it may mean reclaiming native roots and connecting with tribal customs and traditions. Therefore, the term real doesn't negate one experience over the other. Instead, it highlights the depth and complexity of Black American identity. Whether a person identifies more with their African lineage or their native ancestry, both are valid paths. Black American identity is an ongoing journey of self-discovery, honoring both the resilience of African Americans and the cultural legacy of Black Native Americans. It is this richness and diversity that make the Black American experience so unique and profound. What are your thoughts on your ancestry? Were your ancestors the original native Black Americans or Africans who came as a result of the transatlantic slave trade? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on whether most Black Americans today are Native Americans or African Americans. Would you like us to make more videos? If yes, please support us by subscribing to the Black History Archives and clicking the bell icon. You can check out more videos on our channel too.
What's so bad about having African descent? My nigga, you're not Cherokee. Like this whole FBA movement, I know I'm gonna get some hate, but bro, it's so stupid to me. We sitting here arguing about who African and who not. My nigga, they look at us the same way. This is exactly what they want to continue to divide us, bro. The more we argue with each other, we not arguing at the real goddamn, target.
If the people that we now call African Americans are the true Aboriginal people of the Americas, then who are the people that we call Native Americans? The $5 Indians. 1887, Congressman Henry Dawes of Massachusetts sponsored a landmark piece of legislation called the Dawes Severalty Act. What it did was allowed non-Native people to falsely claim Native status by paying $5, which gave them access to land and resources meant for real tribes people. However, it is important to note that before 1887 and the deliberate removal, destruction, and obliteration of all records that prove that the Aboriginal people of the Americas were Negro, the Webster Dictionary of 1828 described an American as follows: a native of America, originally applied to Aboriginals or the copper-colored races, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America.
I am not an African. I am a Black American. What that means is that my entire family has come from America. I am the descendant of people that were slaves. That's what that means when I tell you that I am a Black American. That means that the people that have been in my family for generations built this country. That means that my grandfather, who served in World War II, that helped fight and defend this country, and was, by the way, denied GI Bill benefits because he was Black, is a part of the history of this country. I am not Haitian. I'm not Nigerian. I am not from any of these other countries. I am a full-blooded 100% Black American. And what that means is that I will speak on Black American culture in any way that I please, but what I will also do is I will not allow for it to continue to be co-opted by Africans who come here with so many more resources than your average Black American does, try to wrap themselves up in our struggle, our oppression, our history, and try to co-opt every space that we have built for ourselves, like they've done in the destruction of the Essence Music Festival. So don't try to discount what I say and try to pretend that I'm Haitian or I'm not American or whatever. No, I'm 100% Black American.
Since we're sending out reminders, this is just a friendly reminder that Black Americans are not African. We are not African American. And I'm not saying that as a way to try to disassociate ourselves from our lineage. Yes, we have lineage that comes from the coast of West Africa. Yes, that is a part of our lineage. But we are not African. We are not African American. I really just wish that we would drop that part of the title, because it does not describe in full like really who and what we are. And it also confuses people about our Americanness, and it makes them feel like we are immigrants like the other people that come over here. We're not immigrants. I saw this TikTok from this guy from West Africa. He's like he's living in the United States, and he's like, if I get tired of this place, if I get tired of this country, I can just go home. You guys can't do that. You guys can't go home. Honey, we are home. America is our home. We were born and bred here. There is no other place. There is no other country. It's just here. And this is what I'm saying. We are not immigrants. So that's why just a friendly reminder.
The people you call Black Americans are not from Africa.
Okay.
We're from America.
I mean, if that's how you want it.
First of all, I'm about to bust that dry bubble that y'all got thinking that everything and everybody comes from Africa. How can humanity come from Africa when all of Africa's food comes from the rest of the world? Your biggest cash crops, cocoa and cassava, both come from America.
I actually love that you brought that up, because I can finally talk about Africa before slavery. Because yes, we did exist before slavery, and Africa, especially West African countries, had peaceful trade with South America at that time. That's why you can find cassava and stuff like that in cultural food in West African countries, because West African countries discovered America way before Europe did, way before. And there's actually a really, really interesting interview from Dr. Even van Santima, which is from the 80s, I think. It's on YouTube, where he talks about how advantaged Africans were and their travels to South America, their trade and stuff like that, and how much Europe did to try cover that up, because they were embarrassed about how advantaged Africans were. So thank you for bringing it up. That's actually, I appreciate that.
Check yourself.
Checked.
So y'all trying to claim that we come from y'all, when in actuality, some of the people in Africa come from us. Y'all never heard about Liberia?
Okay, now I'm generally a little bit confused, because even when we go off of your point of saying Black Americans are not Africans, Liberia would still exist as a country, maybe with a different name, without Black Americans, because it was never an empty piece of land. There were people living there before, and it actually caused a lot of difficult dynamics and even wars when they sent back Black Americans. So yeah, just saying that they would exist without Black Americans still.
Yeah. And y'all love to say that we ain't got no culture and we don't know who we are.
I totally agree on that, because even I grew up learning that Americans have no culture. That was never just about Black Americans, that was about Americans. And it took me a time to actually overthink what I've been hearing my whole life, because it's simply not true. You have your own culture. Do I say, or would I say you are the blueprint? Absolutely not. I would never agree to that. But will I say you have a big impact? Absolutely. Absolutely, and I'm freaking proud of y'all for doing that. So yes, we should work on that, and we should definitely give Black Americans their roses, because they be working hard. Shit, yeah.
So who are you to even open your mouth and try to tell us who we are?
Honestly, especially in this time, no one can tell you who you are. If you want to be a tree, be a tree. If you want to be a cat, be a cat. And if you don't want to be African, don't be African. And this might sound sarcastic, but I don't mean it in that way. Like, seriously, if you don't want to be African, that's it. And I think Africans, or we in general, got to stop telling them who to be. If they want to not be African, that's fine. I'm totally fine with us being friends. I don't need to be your blood, and I don't need us to have the same roots for us to get along. Can we just stop fighting? Can we just do that?
To everybody that calls me Somali, I'm not fucking Somali. I'm not Somalian. I'm not from Africa. I don't identify with anything African. I am African American. Okay? African Americans are a new breed of African. Okay? We're not from Africa. We're from America. I was born in New York. We're not the same thing. We're not. We're black. That's an American thing. Black isn't anywhere else besides America. We are a new tribe. Okay? We don't look nothing like y'all. We don't talk nothing like y'all. We don't dress nothing like y'all. Know the difference. We are not the same. At all. Period. Point blank. Have a nice night. Have a good day.
The only non-immigrants in America is black Americans. Everybody else came from somewhere. We all know white people came from Europe, but what some don't know is Native Americans came from Asia. This is why every foreigner on this land wants to convince you that you came from somewhere as well. They want to make it seem like these lands was once unoccupied. But for millions of years, America was occupied by melanated people, who are the modern day African Americans today. African Americans are not from Africa. Colored people, black people are not from Africa. We are not the same. We are the indigenous people of these lands, right? When Columbus came here, we were the people that he saw. Copper colored people, twisted up hair, look just like me. But the thing is, a lot of people around the world are very upset of this revelation, which doesn't make sense. Because why do y'all always pick and choose when to be our enemy and when to not be our enemy? When we rapping and singing and dancing and playing basketball and football and baseball and all these other things, y'all love us. Oh my gosh, look at them. They're so great. Look at how they do it. Yeah, look at them dancing. But the moment we start speaking on how to better our people, better our communities, y'all turn against us. Y'all shut down. And that's not okay. Because one thing that I've learned in this life is all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We spend so much time blaming the natives, the Africans, the YT, this. Nah, how about we blame ourselves? Because you see, when I go outside, I'm not looking and ducking and dodging the YTs. I'm not looking and ducking and dodging the natives. I'm not looking and ducking and dodging the Africans. I'm looking and ducking and dodging my own people. So I'm not about to spend all my time arguing with these people on TikTok. Because down to the very fact of the matter, at the end of the day, when Chief Yasa needs something, or Chief Yasin is trying to make improvements, or when Chief Yasin's finally making progress, it's my own people who dookie on me, push me down, spit on me. My own people. So no, I'm not about to sit here and argue with these people. No, I argue with you, kinfolk. Get your stuff together. I'm holding you accountable. You responsible. Not these people. Welcome to that cookout.
Welcome back for that amazing scene, guys. What do you guys think? Like, what do you just think as you're watching, especially as a Black American, especially as a rooted foundational Black Americans, not just the fairy, sideways Black Americans. I want to know about the rooted ones. Like, what do you guys think about this particular video? A lot of them have been able to come out here to tell you that this is actually who they are, that this is what they actually want to be represented. And if you check from my first clip that I actually played for you guys, that particular clip is actually explaining that no matter the belief of any single person or however you want to see yourself as, or whatever you want to see yourself with, it should not be a problem. Everybody have different understanding. Everybody have what they really believe in. So a lot of them are already coming out. A lot of foundational Black Americans are coming out to be like, I am not African Black Americans. Stop calling me African Black Americans. I remember that time that, I remember one certain time that the Latinos were getting deported, the Mexicans were getting deported. I think one of the major things that actually went viral during that time was them reminding Black Americans that Black Americans should not just stay and fold their arms, that Black Americans are actually going to be deported. And when I did that video, I actually debunked it. I was like, are you people serious? Do you people know who you guys are talking about? You guys are talking about foundational Black Americans. Like, how do you even stay to think about it, come to a realization that these people are actually going to be deported? These people are the foundation of America. These people are rooted in America. So it is okay for them to say, we do not want to be called or associated with Africans. Like, not like in terms of the name, right? Because yes, a lot of them will tell you that I have friends with Africans, I'm good with African people, but the only thing is I don't want to associate myself. I don't want me to be known. I don't want me to be tagged as African American. And why can't that be respected? I respect that for the whole fact. But this is just bringing this video so that you guys can also let me know what your thought is in the comment section. As someone that is actually in American, as someone that is rooted indigenous, the enslaved descendants that carry the pride. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Who are the real Americans? That's the question we are asking, because I believe that with research, we cannot just get just one thing. So we'll just keep researching over and over again until we're able to get like different answers. So I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Who are the real Americans? Not Americans, sorry, who are the real Black Americans? That is just the question here. Who are the real Black Americans? Who are they? Where are they rooted? Where are they from? I really, really want to know. And what do they want to be attached with? I really want to know, because there was actually a video I actually did as well where I carried out a research where I saw some Indian American. And to be honest, when I was doing that particular video research, that was the first time of knowing that there is something called Indian Americans. That's just the honest truth. I'm saying it from the depth of my heart, right? So because over time, we are brought up with these ideas of Black Americans are rooted from Africans, different part of the world, right? And so not like just a particular place. Black Americans are rooted from Africans. So we always see them as African Black Americans. But when they started coming online, especially this 2025, to start telling us and start making it known to us that we are not to be identified with Africans, we are just to be identified as Black Americans because we are the indigenous people. And they gave some certain reasons that to some points, I have to understand where they are coming from. I have to now accept what they are saying to some points, right? But anyways, we keep doing research every time. We keep bringing out or rooting out histories, and that is the main reason why we are here. If you have anything you actually want me to research on, please do well to leave it for me in the comment section, because most of the research I do here, I get ideas from the comment section where some persons will be like, oh, can you just do more research about this? Can you do more research about this history? Can you do more research about this? And this is just for educational purposes. We're not doing all of these because we want to bash anybody. No, that is never our agenda. It can never be our agenda. We're doing this so that me and you can actually learn, right? Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we use in our today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you super chatting me. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are the best. If you haven't joined my membership, please try your possible best to join my membership. This is another way of supporting me, and I really do appreciate that. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to this point, what are you waiting for? You've been seeing this pretty lady trying to root out content for you. You have not subscribed. Please do what? Subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. Let me know what your thought is among this video. And yes, with no further ado, like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. The questions still remain. Who are the real Black Americans? Let me know.